Apples. Are they suddenly shrinking?
I think they might be in some cases. And why a veterinarian is giving Andy Reesmeyer nightmares about a furry convention he tried to get into once back in Indiana. You know? We want to hear more about that, but if there's time.
If there's time. I'll tell you where there is not a furry convention is Indiana. It would not stop you at the border before you got in. All right. You ever look at a pineapple and just say, God, that thing is too big? Probably not, right? It is a problem you didn't know you had. And thanks to the geniuses at Big Corporate Food, we now have the tiny pineapple. Del Monte is behind the fruit that they're calling Precious Honeyglow.
It's adorable.
Ladies and gentlemen, put your hands together and welcome to the stage, Precious Honeyglow. She's half the size of a regular pineapple. The fruit is from Costa Rica and gets that way thanks to selective breeding. That is actually how I got this way too. The company says
wide open on that one.
The company says this is to combat a problem where people won't buy big pineapples because they're too large for one person and they're worried about wasting. But it's crazy because the idea that anyone has ever bought a pineapple to eat in one sitting is dangerously insane. The reason people don't eat pineapples is because they clearly don't want to be eaten. They are blunt force objects covered in spikes with a crown of knives. They do not want you to eat. Can you imagine, like, before knives, no one ever ate a pineapple.
But they look cool.
They do look cool, yes.
They're pretty on the countertop.
Dress up a Bloody Mary bowl.
And forget about what they do to your tongue once you start eating them.
That's right.
Look at this.
We don't need you, tiny pineapples. They slowly will be introduced in stores at first, but if they catch on, you can expect to start to see Precious Honeyglow at a Stater Brothers near you. Until then, us sad, lonely solo pineapple eaters will just have to do it the old-fashioned way, buying them pre-cut in a sticky plastic bucket.
My daughter loves to cut them open and cut them up. So it's like part activity, you know, part snack.
Yeah, your countertop's always sticky.
A little bit. I mean, you're going to clean up.
No, because you wipe it down.
Yeah, you can wipe it down. You know, it works, though. Like, with the whole family. I get the point, right? I'm not buying one for myself.
It's like entertainment at the Omen House.
But we do buy those little tiny watermelons.
Yeah.
Oh, good.
Oh, yeah. The seedless?
Yeah, those little
Personal.
ones.
Yeah,
exactly.
Nice. Well,
who eats one of those in a city?
Nobody does any of that. No. Anyway, so for anybody who has been around a skittish dog, I don't know why, but it seems like we have all agreed to make a skittish dog feel better. We just pretend to be like them. Like, you get down on their level and you also act equally sheepish. This takes that to the next level.
I knew this wasn't the last we'd see.
Yeah, I was hoping that I would end up in a double box next to this someday. Here I am. A worker there at a Virginia Wildlife Center hand-feeding a baby fox wearing a fox head costume. They say this is to help the baby foxes and totally has nothing to do with that one weird furry guy who might work there. All jokes aside, they say it's so that the orphaned pups that are being raised in captivity don't become used to humans, so when they go back out into the wild, they'll be okay. By the way, do you know what a group of foxes, baby foxes, are called?
Kit.
They're called a kit. That's right. That's what the AP is calling it. Anyway, Executive Director Melissa Stanley says the group was admitted to the center after a man found them in an alleyway in Richmond, Virginia. In addition to wearing the animal costume, they also limit the human noises that they make around the kit, and they also try to limit the things that the foxes see. They actually are even seated there on a stuffed animal fox meant to resemble a mama fox. So very cool.
It kind of is,
he's
you know.
Squealing because he's terrified.
He's like,
don't look up.
I know you're a person. Don't put that on your head.
Come on.
You don't need to wear that thing.
Just off
You smell like a person, you're a person.
Yeah. Not getting past them.
Well, you know, kudos to them for actually making the effort to do everything they can to actually, you know, make sure those guys get back into the wild and live the little lives that they're supposed to.
Go get them.
So good for them for that. Which is, it's what we want, right? We want everybody to live happy and long. Outside we go. Let's take a look at those winds, shall we? Because that is going to be the big weather story over the next, I would say, 36 hours. And this is an example of the winds. This is our Huntington Beach camera, and as you can see, it's windy there, and it is going to get much windier. As I mentioned, the winds are going to really start to develop tonight into tomorrow, and tomorrow we are going to be windy. In fact, overnight into tomorrow morning. The winds will peak for everyone, I would say, by lunchtime, and then after that they'll start to subside. But we do have widespread wind warnings and some advisories as well. So again, this is Huntington Beach. You can see the palm trees there. there. Shane in the wind. Here are your weather headlines. So we are going to see Santa Ana winds Thursday primarily. We are going to see lingering winds on Friday, but all the advisories, the watch-ins, the warnings will be done tomorrow. It is going to be dry with temperatures that are going to be mild for Thursday, especially because we do have a storm system moving in. This is an unusual system for us because most of our systems usually come in from the northwest, and when they don't come in from the northwest, they come from the southwest. So this one is coming in from the northeast. And even more interesting is that it is going to have some moisture with it because of the position of that system, and it's going to come in conjunction with a Santa Ana wind event. Yes, so again, really making it an interesting weather pattern over the next several days. As we look at the winds for now, you can see that we're mostly in the single digits. This pattern looks like what it looks like every day at about this time. But again, it's tonight when that area of low pressure begins to drop in from the Great Basin. That's when we're going to start to see those winds get strong, gusty, and more importantly, dangerous. 64 degrees right now in downtown Los Angeles, 43 in Big Bear City, 57 in Lancaster, and 66 with cloudy skies in San Bernardino. The winds there are out of the west-southwest. Eventually, those winds are going to be out of the east and the northeast. So this is the dome of high pressure. This is our weather maker. This is going to be the system. See the rotation around this. By the way, it is an area of low pressure, right? So the circulation around that is going to move into those wind-prone areas of Southern California, as far northwest as Santa Barbara, but really impacting LA and Ventura County, and then the Inland Empire. So Riverside, San Bernardino, and of course Orange County. The upper level winds are going to be pretty strong. The jet stream, that is, and the surface gradients are also going to be strong because of the position of this high in relation to this low. And so all of that is going to combine, and that's why tomorrow we are going to see isolated wind gusts that could possibly hit 80 miles per hour. Yes, you heard that right, 80 miles per hour. So don't be surprised tomorrow if we start to talk about overturned trucks on the I-15. We see that regularly with really strong and dangerous winds. We are going to see the chance of precipitation. I'll show you that next time around. This is the map with all the watches and the advisories and the warnings. Widespread, as you can see, except for the LA coastal basin. Everyone is going to be impacted by the winds. This is the LA coastal basin. Look at everybody else. That purplish lavender color, that, by the way, is 50 miles per hour, but the winds are going to be much stronger than that. San Fernando Valley, 71 tomorrow with winds 73 on Friday, subsiding. Those winds and the cloud cover will be about the same on Saturday. For the mountains, yes, we are going to see the pretty good chance of snow Friday, Saturday. And by the way, those snow levels around 5,000 feet. Santa Clarita Valley tomorrow, windy, 67 degrees for a daytime high. The winds will mellow out on Friday. The temperatures in the cloud cover will stay the same for Saturday. And finally, for the high desert tomorrow, sunny, windy, 61 degrees, slightly cooler on Friday when we get that cold air mass, and then back to 63 and partly cloudy on Saturday. And let's look at the extended forecast. Let's take a look at the fun fact at 5.
Here we go.
All right, what language does the word robot come from?
What do you think, V?
Everything comes from Latin or Greek.
That's right.
I mean,
maybe it's short for something in Japanese.
Oh, maybe.
I don't know. Ooh. That's my guess. And I'm sticking with it. How about you, Sandy? What do you got?
I'm going to go with Latin. I think
Latin.
you're right. Yeah.
All right. You're right. You know, it's the root.
The English language is basically. All right, how would you like to pick the music for our show? Just log on to ktla.com/viewer playlist. You can find out how.
Today's viewer playlist is from guest DJ Myra in Los Angeles.